Hello, everyone. I hope you are doing well today. Todd Waldo, founder and principal consultant for Hugh Helen LLC. And once again, partnering with the Metropolitan Business League on this year's RVA Link Up. So wanted to jump on Zoom for a couple of minutes and talk to you all that are showing up and getting ready to be part of this event, both as business owners and those of you who are showing up in this procurement space, looking for new opportunities to work with some of the MBL members and others who are going to attend. But I didn't want to do that by myself. So I invited my friend David. He's on here with me, and we're just going to hang out for a couple of minutes and just kind of think about, how do you prepare for this? What does it look like to kind of show up and be in the space? And what does follow-up do after? So David, hello. Thanks for jumping
Hey,
on.
Todd. Thanks for having me. David LeFevre, Supplier Diversity Program Manager at the Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond, but also proud member and board member of the Metropolitan Business League. So excited for the RVA Link Up this year, and excited just to give you a few hints and tips and tricks to prepare for the RVA Link Up.
Yeah. David and I have been collaborators trying to support these big initiatives around supplier diversity for a while. And so we get to do this a lot, just kind of sit together and talk together. And David, when I think about business owners spending this week, these next couple of days ahead of Thursday, I start thinking about, like, as a business owner, like, what goals do I have? Like 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. And if I show up and start having conversations, like what could that do towards my goals? Like, how does this help me? Maybe it's, I got a new product that I'm trying to introduce, maybe a new service, but like I've got some very clear goals. And so maybe this new relationship, maybe it's a return back to do work again, but it helps me to satisfy the goals that I have. But to do that, I want to be really clear on what I offer. And how could this person I'm talking to, how do they learn more about that? Maybe it's my capability statement. Maybe it's my website. Maybe it's a brochure, but I want to make it really easy for folks to know, hey, I've got some goals in mind. This is the kind of work I'm interested in doing. Is that the kind of thing we can do together? And this is what it looks like to work with me. This is what I offer. So that's kind of what I think about, like something that business owners can do to kind of prepare for this. Is that similar to where your mind is, for what business owners can do to kind of get ready for this week?
Yeah, I think similarly to what you just mentioned, Todd, is I think having, your capability statement, business cards, having the elevator pitch, the elevator speech, kind of having in mind and being prepared of what you're looking for to get out of this event. But then also doing some homework. So looking at who's going to be at this event. So I know we have a variety of different prime business owners and companies, large companies here in the greater Richmond that are going to be present at the RVA Link Up. And so really just doing your homework and seeing who's going to be there. And then also thinking about how there is a potential connection to your business. Sometimes there is a really great connection and sometimes there's not. So really trying to maximize your time, because there's going to be a lot of great people to connect with. And so really kind of doing some of that prep work of, hey, these are the top 5 people or top 5 businesses that I want to meet with. And then, having some of that prep work in advance.
Yeah. For the folks who are showing up that are going to be, they're on the supplier diversity side, they're in procurement, there might be a buyer, they could be leading some part of the business. Like, how do they get ready? Because it's a lot for them too. It's a lot of people to meet, a lot of conversations to have. Like, how do those folks get ready for, this week ahead of Thursday?
Yeah, so this kind of similarly is really that prep work. So as much as we really want to maximize our time and be intentional with our connections. So I know from the small business owner side, you're looking at identifying contracts and identifying that next step or scaling your business. Similarly, our primes and supplier diversity and procurement professionals are looking for suppliers to do business with. So if you're a procurement or supplier diversity professional, it's really thinking about what are those upcoming contracts that are going to be expiring, or potentially there's an opportunity not to renew those contracts, or there's a new opportunity that's coming up in the procurement space over the next probably 18 months. We all know it takes time to get those contracts in place. So thinking about what's coming up in terms of opportunities, what are those key commodities or categories that you're always looking for suppliers. So thinking about where those opportunities connect with the business owners that are going to be present at the RVA Link Up. So I know that that information will be provided in advance. And so I know it's always good to take a glance and kind of highlight who are those people that either going to be doing matchmaking with or that I really want to get in front of. And then also, hopefully people are bringing some of your other colleagues. So I know I'm going to be bringing some of my other procurement professionals that support different categories across the Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond. I know some people are going to hopefully be bringing their internal business customers that are always looking for new suppliers. So I'm also doing some of that prep work and getting those people prepared. I know as a supplier diversity person, we're always attending outreach events, so we're ready, we're prepared. But if you are bringing other individuals, making sure that they're prepared of how do you talk about your opportunities and your procurement process, and being prepared for that is always helpful.
Yeah, that's good. We always talk about, any strategy around supplier diversity, increasing spend, making that more diverse, thinking about the kind of businesses that you're working with. End of the day, this is about relationship building. It's about getting to know someone, their business, who they are, how they do that, how they work with, with different teams. It's great to know for the business owner, there might be more than one person to talk to. Like you might show up and say hi to a few people that represent different aspects of the business. But this is about relationship building. Many who show up, like they're already kind of at yes, like they're there because they want to work with MBL members. They want to have more diverse suppliers. And so they already have kind of made that choice. And now it's thinking about, is this a good fit? So having that in the back of your mind that, yes, I'm going to talk to a few different people, but let folks get to know you. Like let them get to know what's unique and different about you, what's unique and different about your business, how your experiences giving you something that could be well leveraged for this new opportunity. Similar work, similar size, similar challenges, producing success that's similar to the kind of success that this business is looking for. And so as you're talking, just be thinking about the uniqueness of you, the greatness of you, what's so dope about you as a business owner. Bring that into the conversation. But do some really good listening, like be listening for what's hard, what's challenging, how do you meet that? And where have you had success with that before? But practically also figure out, how do we work together? Meaning, where do I register? What list do I need to be on? Do I need a certification? Do I need certain insurance? Like whatever those particular qualifications are for working with that company, identify those. And I don't know if that's something, those of you that are on a procurement side, if you can like maybe have that on a flyer handout, like just kind of tell us, like that's helpful too. But just, I want to know what it takes for us to work together. So while both you're talking about the uniqueness of your business, what's great about your business and what you offer, you also want to figure out very practically, all right, these certifications, these are the things so that I understand if this moves forward, I've taken care of those practical things. And because I don't want that to be a barrier to us working together, because I need to be on a particular list and you can't find me. So I want to make sure those things are in place. But again, this is about, building relationships with one another.
And I'd also just reiterate, it really is what you just said, Todd, is really just listening. So people, from the procurement side are going to give you specific feedback, whether it's, hey, here's the next steps, or, hey, I really actually have an opportunity in the next 30 days. Please be in touch. If someone gives you specific instructions, as we were taught in school, follow up. Sometimes people are going to say, hey, there's nothing at the time. So also, that doesn't mean that it's a complete no, but it may not mean that it's in the near horizon. So I think, one recommendation is really listening and taking good notes, and then that will help you follow as a follow-up. So following up to all the connections you make and prioritizing those prospects. So, not everyone is going to be a complete hot prospect, but really prioritizing that. So you're using your time wisely in terms of that business development and identifying that next opportunity. Also look to surprises. People are always, I would say, in the supplier diversity space, from a corporate side, people want to assist and make those connections. So if there isn't, an immediate opportunity, but there's a connection that someone can make, take people up on that, because people really do want to make those connections. People are very well connected and know of others. So help use that social capital and those networks to your advantage.
Yeah.
And then also look at, maybe there's going to be other small business owners that maybe there's a connection, that maybe you could go in on a contract together, RFP opportunity, or just continuing to build your network and social capital. Because that really sometimes there isn't an immediate answer of what that will look like, but that I know for myself, that always is that can always be useful in the future. So really network, build those relationships, or continue to build them relationships with people that you already know.
Yeah, the way that we've designed this experience with the team, like we've got these kind of more formal walk up to the table, talk to each other kind of moments, but there's also a lot of informal too. Folks are just going to be moving around. And so as you are both grabbing coffee or you're both standing off to the side, like say hello to people, engage with people, look for those surprises, look for those opportunities to get to know others. And then I appreciate, David, this, set some priorities. There's a lot of people to talk to. I think that's true for everyone who's attending. Sometimes it's helpful, imagine the conversation is going really well. You want to get to the next steps. It's okay to ask, hey, what's the best way to follow up with you? Is it email? Is it a phone call? You want me to schedule a meeting? Like, what's the best way to do that? And then when? And then take that and put a reminder on your calendar, put it on your to-do list, however you manage your workload. Go ahead and write that down and get that down and follow up with the person. But it's great to ask, what's the best way to follow up with you? Sometimes the post of this event, it can be overwhelming, right? I got 22 business cards, and who did I talk to, and what was going on? So the notes you take while you're talking, that's helpful. Who am I follow up with? When do I follow up? Confirming it. So I'm going to follow up with you on the 3rd at this time. Yes, great. Thank you. But just really holding on to, how do we keep this conversation going? How do we continue to build this relationship? And if there are things that help you do that, I use my phone. And so I am taking photos, I am writing notes, I'm putting things on my calendar to remind me to do things. That's what's helpful for me. So whatever's helpful for you to keep track of who you're talking to and how to follow up and what's the context of that follow-up. If it's your notebook, whatever that is, just be thinking about that. So that way, on the other side of this event, when we get to Friday and you're all excited because you met somebody new, what are the things that really help you follow up and really keep the conversation going? And maybe prioritizing some over the others. If there's one it's super pressing because they need help in the next 30 days, or I'm really excited about that opportunity, right? We talked about a very particular thing. I think I could do that really well. I really want to prioritize that one over maybe some of the others. David, did I miss anything on that, on the trying to keep?
Yeah, I think you fully captured that. I think you really summarized that well, of just thinking about who you're going to meet with and maximizing all those conversations, and then really prioritizing that. I think it's helpful just from managing that, because it can be overwhelming, because you're like, oh, hey, I met all these great people, but how do I follow up with them in a timely manner, or how they told me to follow up with them? So, I know when I attend events, I come back, look at all my business cards, look at all the capability statements, and then really create that list of, okay, here's someone I want to, I need to follow up immediately. Here's people that I'm going to keep in my list and keep that relationship building, whether it's every quarter, every 6 months. And then here's people I'm just going to keep in my, wheelhouse to continue to stay in touch with, or, make sure that I'm, staying, inviting to other events, or keeping connected with. So, I think it can be overwhelming, but maximize the time and then come back and organize how you might follow up, I think is always helpful.
Yeah. I mean, this is, it's a lot of work forming relationships with people. But this is how business growth happens. And sometimes that requires us to be very diligent, very deliberate in how we engage with people, but also being patient. Right. And so again, getting a sense of, when might this opportunity come up? Is there something short-term? Is there something more long-term? Or we don't have it now, but we want to keep talking. Great. But just having a real sense of, how patient do I need to be with this person?
Yes.
as we're dialoguing with each other. And I think that goes for both sides. That's both for the business owner, but I think also for the folks on the procurement side to be patient as they're working through their list of priorities and folks that they met.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, RVA Link Up Thursday, 1 to 4 over at the Bon Secours Training Center. NBL's website, all the stuff is there on all of their social. So I'm going to be there. David, I guess you'll be there too.
I'll be there.
So we'll see you all there. And again, special thanks to NBL and all the partners for making this event possible. And hopefully these couple of minutes help you prepare so you can show up and, as we were saying, maximize this opportunity to be in the space, get to know some people. So thanks so much. And we'll see you all at RVA Link Up. Thanks, David.
See everyone.